Hi everybody, welcome to Module 8, our final module, where we'll be talking about planning transitions, looking specifically at how parts B and C of IDEA apply to young children, how we can use teaming to appropriately support children through assessment and early intervention, and how we can design those appropriate intervention programs. So we're kind of wrapping around all that we've learned in Modules 1 through 7 into this final module. In the final module, you'll be working on an IEP and both the present levels and the goals that'll be based on BRAD, and an activity-based matrix based on what you've learned about BRAD in Module 7. You'll be completing your discussion board 4, and it should be a great way to wrap up your learning in the course so far. So in addition to checking the announcements, this week it's really essential that you take a final look at your grades, make sure you understand everything that's in there, that you've completed the key assignments and the final discussion board. And if you've got questions, by all means, either ask them in a questions discussion board or go ahead and send me an email. To complete the IEP, I went ahead and put everything in one document to make it a little bit easier. So when you open up the document, you'll see that the start is the rubric that you will want to look at to make sure you're designing your IEP appropriately, that your present levels have all the key elements, that you've got those considerations of special factors, that you're using people first language, and that you have 3 appropriate goals for BRAD. So after you've taken a look at that rubric in detail, then I took the Kentucky IEP, and since in Kentucky we do IEPs in Infinite Campus, I didn't obviously have a way to allow you to access that for this course, but I did go ahead and recreate all of the pieces of that in a table that hopefully will feel familiar and welcoming because it's similar to the advanced organizers you've been doing. So you'll go ahead and fill in the information here. This is for Brad. Brad is in a preschool program. Fill in his age, what his disability category would be, and then go ahead and add information here in his present levels. All right, we're going to scroll on down. You will want to check the right columns here. Does his behavior impede his learning? If you choose yes for the answer, go up here and just highlight that. Or if you choose no as the answer, highlight no. If he has limited English proficiency, list that. If he has a diagnosis of blindness or visual impairments, list that. Deafness or hard of hearing, list that. If he has communication needs, again, check that appropriately. Assistive technology, and if he needs any any devices, you'll check that. If you said above that he has any issues, then you need to have something written in this section here. Excuse my cough. I just can't get rid of it this semester. Here in the measurable annual goals and benchmarks, you're going to create your goal, and then you'll need at least 3 benchmarks, and you will use the IEP guide as the best way to write those. Make sure you're referring back to that Kentucky document that we looked at early on in this semester. Brad will need 3 goals with benchmarks, and then you're going to talk about any supplementary aids that he might need. The specially designed instruction that's in each goal and these supplementary aids and services, those are in the Kentucky document, the one with the schoolhouse on the front. If you go about page 14 in that document, you'll see the columns that have the supplementary aids and services and the specially designed instruction that children need who have IEPs. So make sure you go to that section. This accommodations are obviously not something we're doing for preschool children, but I left that section in because it's part of the IEP, just so that you kind of see the rest of the things that are in the IEP, if you're not already familiar with that. So that's the template and the rubric you'll use for the Kentucky IEP. One reminder, when you're looking at the IEP, make sure that you go back into the rubric and highlight the column where you feel like you've scored. So if you feel like you've given your all here and you have everything for the present levels, go ahead and score yourself, and that is part of your final grade. So make sure you give that score. I'm not going to save my changes so it doesn't mess with the format. After you write the IEP, then based on the goals you develop for Brad, you're going to go ahead and create your own activity matrix, and I'm just going to open up the sample here. So a sample activity matrix would include the daily routine that would happen in a preschool day, and then you'll have 3 targeted outcomes. Those are based on the goals that you will create in the IEP, and then when you would be accomplishing those, or when you would have opportunities for the child to work on those goals. So you can see how that works. If the target is for Jesse to drink from a cup, then when they're outside and when they're at snack, those are opportunities for him to drink out of a cup. There is a rubric here for the activity matrix. It starts with the rubric. Make sure you self-score after you complete the assignment, and then a template that you can fill in. So you'll fill in the daily routines for Brad, and then you'll put his IEP goal 1 here, and then based on how your day would flow, you're going to put over here, just like in the other example, probably his arrival. If you're going to do small group here, if you're going to do some free play, if you're going to do snack time, however your day runs, go ahead and fill that in, and then the opportunities for Brad to have access to instruction for those goals. Include those in the columns. And that is your activity matrix. Note that the IEP and the IFSP will need to be uploaded to TaskStream. So don't forget to do that. If you've got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic week of learning in this final module.